Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Ultimate General American Revolution, a game that recently entered early access by the folks at Game Labs, and we're playing through episode number 8, I believe it is now, of our Let's Play series, playing as the Americans, the only campaign currently available in the game. We sort of have two operations ongoing. One is a holding action in the east with about 4,600, or I guess now only 4,200 soldiers, at Providence and Leicester, sort of hopefully pinning the British in at Boston and Middleborough. Despite the fact that the British probably outnumber us, the garrisons seem to be strong enough to this point, preventing the British coming after us. And then we also have a force of about 2,400 soldiers who are actively campaigning toward Fort Ticonderoga with the objective of eliminating the British position to the west on this map. The map only extends so far into sort of eastern New York, although that may change because it's already expanded once out of just Massachusetts, but at least at the moment to Ticonderoga. Now, Ticonderoga is an objective for us. Our sort of reputation is on the line. If we fail to take that in the next a little bit less than 2 months, our reputation will take a hit. If our reputation goes to 0 up here, we actually are fired. And 36 is a fairly low reputation. We've been spending it on research projects and other things like that, but you probably want to have it higher than that because it can influence, you know, how many soldiers of yours desert and how many people support you and things like that. So we do want to get it up. If we take Ticonderoga, we will get a bonus for that. Our last intel had the British having around 1,500 soldiers there, so we have about 1,000 men more than they do there. That being said, not great because we know that they obviously have a level 3 fort here, so it increases melee damage by 60%, damage resistance by 50, reload speed by 70, cover by 0, and morale by 30. I don't know if they have to be in the fort to get those benefits, like if they have to be on defensive positions inside the fort. That's my hope. Maybe if I attack them, I can lure some of their units out to increase our odds or give us a better chance there. I'm not really sure how that works, but that's kind of where things fall right now. Meanwhile, we have a problem. We don't have enough money, and so I have tried to remedy that somewhat. I built a weaver's house which produces textiles here in Hartford, so I'm assuming I can sell those on the market to generate extra cash. We don't have any textiles right now, but in theory one textile is 1,700. We could produce other things too, like cigars or rum or fur if we built other buildings. Textiles seems to be the least lucrative, but also until I get some further research, it's kind of my only option right now. I don't think I have a fur trader or anything like that. We could sell ammo for money, but we really don't have enough ammo as it is. We could sell wagons for money, but it's not enough to really fund a campaign. We've already sold most of the artillery that I'm comfortable selling, but what we do need is we need more guns right now. We're not producing enough. You can see here we are producing... what are we producing? If we go back to the construction or production management thing, we're producing 60 civilian muskets per day. We could increase that if we want to spend more per day on our factories. So we increase that to, we rent 6 factories on the private market. That will increase our production to 80 per day. It does cost more money to get the resources and things like that you need, but 80 per day is I think a much healthier number. And then in the short term, like for the next day, we can also buy some guns. So we're going to buy 264 of these civilian muskets, which is what the bulk of our troops are equipped with. That will cost us about half of our current money, but it's badly needed, either not necessarily for Saratoga, but for the other bases around here like Providence or Leicester, where some of these troops don't have enough weapons to even use the recruits they have. One other thing we can do is set priority delivery to the settlement. So by doing this, it should draw supplies or manpower or other things like that in from other settlements. So hopefully it will improve the general situation of our forces here. And we'll see what that looks like. I'm going to give it 1 day just so we can consume those additional muskets. We'll see how many more manpower or how many more men we get. Looks like we're losing a little bit in desertion, I'm assuming. You can see we've dropped below 2,400, but we do have some recruits, which I'm assuming in the next day can be can be recruited, if you will. All right, so it basically just got me back to even, to 4,600. My regular troops are the least well off in terms of regiments and what their size is. But honestly, I don't think time plays in our favor right now, so we are going to just go ahead and go. Let's begin the process of bringing these troops up to Ticonderoga, and we'll fight a battle there. A lot of these units are understrengthed, but it is what it is. I'm going to form 2 brigades, so we'll pull these guys out of Ticonderoga here. Let's go ahead and form them into a brigade. I thought I selected all 3. All right, so we've got 1 brigade of 1,000 men. And then I don't know that I don't think we're pulling anything else up. So, and then we will form up the other 3 regiments here into another brigade. This is a bit of a dicey situation. Okay. All right, and then we'll have our general officer leave, and then we will join an army and move on Ticonderoga from the land side. So we've got an army of 20, just shy of 2,400 men moving toward Ticonderoga. And hopefully the enemy has not reinforced. It doesn't look like it, so we've got about 800 more men than them. Some of their troops appear to be leaving the fort, although I think it'll all be in close proximity to the fort, so it'll end up being a fort battle anyway. All right, let's go here. We're going to fight this battle here. So the enemy does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 batteries of artillery to our 1. And the enemy does have 700 troops in the fort, 600 out of the fort. He might actually have too many companies to fully get everybody into the fort. So we'll see what we can do here. I don't love the idea of assaulting an enemy fortification with our troops in kind of a bit of a rough shape, but you can see here's the level 3 fort. We've fought on level 2 forts. We've never fought on a level 3. So let's see here. This is obviously, this looks like a much more permanent fort. The level 2 is kind of wooden ramparts all the way around. This appears to almost not quite be a star fort, and it's got stone walls on the sort of exterior portions of the fort and also sort of the inner workings of the fort. So certainly a much more defensible position, if you will. We do outnumber the enemy, but whether it's enough, remains to be seen. Let's bring some of our guns out to here. These are 4-pounders, so they should be, I guess, slightly more effective than what we've been using before, which have been primarily 3-pounders. You can see my regiments. A full-strength regiment is about 120 men. So company, about. Depends on the type of unit too. So I really shouldn't say that, because there can be companies where that's the full strength, and there can be companies where that is over strength, under strength, or whatever. Let's actually do this. Let's just move the brigade like that. And then Isaac Evans' brigade will move to the left of the fort. And then the artillery piece specifically will move here. So let's get that underway. There needs to be better pre-battle deployment options. Also, there needs to be better unit orders. Dragging units is fun and cool, and that fits with sort of the Game Lab's style, if you will, and that is something I enjoy about their games. Although this doesn't quite have the draw your movement sort of approach in the same way that that the Ultimate General Civil War series or Gettysburg did. It feels a little bit more linear, like, I don't know if I can, oh, I can still do that. All right. Let's see if we can go take out this enemy artillery battery. We know they already have considerably more pieces than us, but if we can wipe out one of them, I'll gladly trade a company to do that. Some of these defensive positions on the left flank here appear to be unoccupied. Interestingly enough, they've got some troops in the woods here. This company's going to get destroyed, but if I can, I'd like to destroy the enemy artillery. They've got multiple batteries out front here. Like, not even in the fort. Cannons to the left of them. Cannons to the right of them. Oh, God, they routed on impact. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, well, the superior enemy artillery may be a problem. We may have to pull back from this. It was just a militia company, so it's not like they were regulars. But that didn't quite pan out. Part of the problem here is I've got artillery over, like up in the works, artillery in front of the works. They've got a huge advantage in terms of artillery. I wonder if we sit back and just let them shell away if they can burn through their ammo, if that would be helpful. Meanwhile, we're setting up our 4-gun battery here to fire at these 100 men here. They're also shooting at my troops as I try and form up. Not great. We do have some cover for some of our units, so as much as we can add to the cover, the less damage enemy artillery will do against us. Like, these guys have taken 200 casualties over the course of the war. I would like to know how many they've taken in this battle. I don't like that it's obfuscated. I wonder, though, if these positions are unoccupied, could we work around to the rear of the fort? With some troops, maybe? Just see if we can get at them? I'm going to move 2 companies way out to the left. See what's out that way. Then the troops that appear to be under artillery fire, we're going to try to shield them a bit from enemy fire by hitting the hold button. That increases their cover, so like one of the ranks sort of kneels. The artillery doesn't seem to be having much effect, though, and they're expending ammunition. This isn't really like, they're not rifled guns, so counter battery fire is not as much of a thing. Maybe I can't see these other enemy guns because they're... behind... Oh no! They can see me, though. It's this stupid little wood or depression or whatever that is there. As much as I can, I would rather target enemy infantry. Nice! Right down the line into their positions. There you go. Nice little volley there. Now fall back. I only lost like 2 men on that artillery. Nice. We just knocked out one of their batteries. A little bit of hit and run tactics there. We shattered one of their batteries and then had our boys pull back. I don't know if these guys will rally. I hope they do. The regulars didn't really rout per se. I don't know where these guys are going. All right, let's see if we can knock out this enemy company that's kind of out alone. Get back into cover, guys. All right, we are actually battering this enemy battery pretty badly. I'm assuming these are 3-pound gallopers, and so we've got a weight of shot advantage there because they're down to 86 men and these guys are at 97. And that was all via counter battery fire. All right, charge them for the rear. They've got some militiamen up here. By the way, if you want some prettier visuals, I believe it's Control-Shift-Z, and you get rid of most of the UI. If you're interested in that kind of thing. All right, we've taken a couple of casualties here. We are still losing men. We've lost about 9 men. They've lost about 17 in this little artillery duel. But I don't feel comfortable assaulting the fort until I've done something about this enemy artillery. I don't know where these guys are just going to retreat all over. Are they interested in rallying at all? Right face! Or I guess it's technically left face. So there do appear to be enemy soldiers in these wings of the fort now. So there was no vulnerable flank, if you will. Right, now they're shooting in a less advantageous position against enemy guns that are higher ground and also on the fort. All right, so we drove back one company of enemy troops. Again, it has us having a manpower advantage, but the problem at this point is that I don't think there's a good way to take advantage of this. Is there a way I can get closer to the fort without exposing myself to tons of artillery fire? Send my officer forward. These guys are in loose formation, so my hope is this is kind of more like skirmishing. And maybe they can knock out these enemy guns. Again, I know I'm going a little bit piecemeal here, but with my officer in tow, their morale should get a little bit of a bonus. I really don't want... Oh my god. They're going to reload for sure. Or they're going to move their guns, maybe. God, they're getting... What did we have? Like 150 before we went in on this? Yeah, okay. So the idea of using a loose formation didn't really see... Like, you would think that artillery would not be very effective against troops in loose formation. You would think. But would we had about 300 men when we went in? We came back with about... We took about 70 casualties. Inflicted maybe 30 on the enemy. I don't know how to get into the fort at this point. There's troops on all sides. There's artillery on all sides. I think our only real chance is to break through here. I don't think we can go up these stone ramparts. So I think what we'd have to do is we would have to concentrate our assault with fire coming in from either flank on this stone parapet here. Take that fire, push these guys off, and then break into the fort that way. I am taking too much damage to my artillery. Let's at least try and knock out this enemy company here. Interestingly enough, there's only 25 men here. Maybe an assault on that left flank would actually be smarter. Alright, so we shattered an enemy infantry company there. Be a little bit further away from these heavy enemy guns. All right, that's what we're going to do. I don't think I have a time limit on this battle. I'm going to concentrate Birch's brigade, which includes my 4 companies of regulars left here. We'll still have to eat a bunch of fire as we approach the fort, but there's only 25 skirmishers or light infantry on the ramparts they'll assault. So we might be able to get in amongst them. Oh, that's cool. It looks like trees actually get knocked down. I thought I saw a tree fall. We're low on ammo for our artillery already. I don't know who you're shooting at over here. Like, if you can't see him, what are you doing? They might have more guns up on here. I'm not sure. Obviously, these guys can still fire from over here, and they do get the fort ammo supply, so they probably have more ammo to use than we would be happy about. By the way, did that other regiment that was retreating all over ever rally? I'm not really sure. Because I don't want to assault 120 men on the parapet there. I am going to do this, though. This will look maybe like an assault to them. I just want to get like 4 quick volleys off. If we can get rid of that battery, I think that would be helpful. We do know they have more artillery, so they might have more guns on these other sections of the wall, but I'm thinking if I bring multiple units that just quickly rush forward, fire 1 volley, then pull back, then maybe we can get rid of this battery. God, they're getting demolished. Is anybody going to shoot? These guys are just going to... These volleys are doing nothing, by the way. just charged into those guns and we're going to eat canister fire and rout. That was stupid. I'm dumb, dumb, dumb. What are you doing? Stay back. All right, so we are taking way too many casualties trying to deal with the enemy artillery and weaken them. I don't know how we're going to break through over here. Not if we even have any chance. I'm not sure if we do. But hey. Oh, they routed totally. Great. All right, we'll pull the guns back. You basically have no ammo left. At least get you out of harm's way. I don't really think this is going to work. I think we're going to get pretty badly shot up, but I don't see another path to any kind of success out west here. I think in order to take Ticonderoga, we either need to pull troops from the east blocking Boston, which I think is a losing game, or we need to try something risky, which I think is what we're going to do here. And if this army gets badly shot up, you know, we are the attackers, so we can always end the assault at any time. We can always send this army east where there's more manpower and resources to reform. We're going to let our boys regain their cohesion or their conditioning for a bit while the enemy continues to spend ammo shooting at us. No, actually stay back here. Change my mind. I'm going to have these 82 men attack this enemy artillery on the right when we order our assault to go forward. Not because I think they will have any success, but because I think it'll divert some enemy fire while we try and break through here. So let's speed up a little bit. Let the enemy continue to fire its artillery. Wait till our conditioning gets close to 100 before we start this melee. All right. Some of those units' conditioning isn't great, but most of them is. Most of them have good conditioning. Okay. Can they charge up that work? That's what I'm not sure. So they got more artillery on the interior of the fort. It looks like they've, again, my theory seems to be right that you've got to go up this part of the fort. I don't want to take fire in here unnecessarily, but it doesn't look like you can charge straight up this line here. The death of an army is what this feels like this might be. Meanwhile, we're at least drawing the artillery attention on the right flank briefly. It would appear we've overrun that first enemy unit, I think. I'm gonna hope that by issuing the orders of the way I am, they will break through. I think we've broken through. It's hard to really tell. Some of these units, the initial, I'm seeing at least one unit rout. I haven't seen anybody who I've ordered to push past the initial break, although that first unit is gone, I can tell, that's for sure. The problem here is we're going to be using up most of that conditioning. I don't know if I should move my general forward because you can get killed, but it seems like we've at least routed one of these enemy units. All right, go get the guns. Additional reserves are coming forward. We've had a couple of units rout here. We're into the interior of the fort. It would be fun to be able to turn their guns against them. I don't know how well these green-jacketed boys will stand up to the fire here. More specifically, I don't know how well they will melee. Probably better than my militia, but who knows? Yeah, our boys are routing. Or at least wrecking the enemy artillery. Can we put some boys on those guns and fire into the enemy rear if they've still got artillery ammo? That would be fun. We got a lot of units routing here. Let's try and get some of these boys onto the earthworks or something. Where'd that artillery come from? Is anybody gonna man those guns? I don't know if we want to be like, hey, we're in the fort, it's ours. Can you guys load this? Yeah, this fight's not going well, I don't think. Yeah, that artillery is not doing much, even though it's very close range. Trying to rest my troops, maybe resupply them a bit on the interior of the fort. You can see the numbers game hasn't worked exactly in our favor. It's about even now, according to this thing up here, although it feels way worse. Meanwhile, we did manage to destroy that enemy light infantry company here just now. Our boys have okay conditioning. How much artillery, like, this is canister fire basically. You would think that would hurt their morale. Can we overwhelm these troops? Yes, we can. All right, so we routed this enemy unit. I'm hoping the artillery from the interior will so hurt their morale that they will break. It seemed like maybe that's what happened to this company here. I'm assuming these guys are out of ammo because they're not shooting at anything. The rest of the enemy seems to be fairly passive. So we routed another enemy unit. This could be some Pyrrhic victory shit, even if we win, which is not a given at this point. I've lost the vast majority of my army to this point. I don't even know if we're going to have the momentum to carry the rest of this fort. The enemy hasn't decided to surrender yet, which tells me that they know they're going to win. All right, that enemy unit routed. So we shattered this enemy artillery that took us, you know, we wrecked like 5 or 6 companies on them. I don't know how many large regiments or companies the enemy has left. There's at least 2 here. The rest of these guys might be like small skirmishing companies by the looks of it. I don't know if we can turn our guns over here. Let's see if we can move those guns, because I don't think they can shoot to the right anymore. But if there's only 25 men here, then maybe we can just overwhelm them. There you go, we routed those guys. Those enemy companies look like they're rallying. Let's put a blocking force in front of them. And the enemy artillery that routed their troops with guns are... Okay, this is a mixed bag here. These 2 companies on the left, I don't think I can defeat. The rest of like, my army is gone. This is very much a Pickett scenario of general, I have no army. Can you guys shoot at these guys? Just from there? I don't even care. Why are they out of the fort? Why did they leave the fort? Nice. Firing that artillery is like firing right down their line. So if we can keep that artillery up, what we have left, our handful of regiments of infantry can hold. Meanwhile, my officer is like stuck out of the fort. I don't really understand, like, the AI, the pathfinding, they seem to get caught up on these parapets and not really able to get in there very well. Oh, someone with me died. My hope is that artillery is so killing their morale that they will break under pressure, because I don't really have many more troops. There you go. Back to global map. Right, the enemy's retreating. I'll take that as a victory. We lost all but 900 of our men. They lost all but 200. So you can see here 2,300 of our troops went in. This was a complete mess. This is how you don't fight, everyone. So I hope it was as frustrating for you as it was for me. But we had 2,300 men. We lost 1,486. So that's just shy of 900 survivors. The enemy had 1,279. They had 1,027 casualties. So they lost. It felt like they weren't losing as badly as they were, but apparently they were. Most of my companies survived. I don't know what this little people thing here. Like, these are rifles. Are these just militia? Like, I don't know what that means. I don't really remember that icon here. But you can see we lost. I mean, we had a fair number of companies survive with heavy damage, but we did have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 companies of infantry destroyed, or militia. The enemy had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 companies destroyed. 2 of them being artillery. So in terms of like permanent unit destruction, I'd say actually the enemy got off better than we did. But in terms of casualties, it looks like they only have 200 survivors. So, you know, hopefully we can hold Ticonderoga. I don't know if they're going to send any troops south from the Fort Hatfield further north. To provoke Native allies. The British agents exploited existing tensions between Native American tribes and American settlers, exacerbating conflicts and incited Native attacks on colonial settlements. This diverts American attention and resources away from the fight against the British. Okay, I don't know how meaningful that is in game terms, but see, the 60 men are retreating to Fort Frederick. We have 700 survivors by the looks of it. We really got to get into Ticonderoga quickly. They have 2,000 soldiers at Frederick. Dear God. Loyalists ask for help. Enraged vigilantes demand the arrest of a powerful loyalist. However, he offers a small but significant amount of money for us to allow him and his family to leave. This is in Rhode Island, where loyalty is 100%. So anytime that Rhode Island is mad about something, I don't care, because they love us so much, I will take advantage of that and take it to the bank. Meanwhile, colonial representatives engage in secret diplomatic negotiations with sympathetic European powers, seeking potential alliances and support for their cause. It seems to me that France, as a longtime enemy of Britain, should support us. So France or Spain? Who do you want on your side? I would say France. Are we taking this fort? Like, all right, there we go. Okay, so they're going to have, when they fully remobilize at Frederick, they're going to have a lot of manpower. But, for the moment anyway, let's get our boys into the Fort Ticonderoga. We captured the fort. It was our objective. And Ticonderoga is going to be our priority for reserves and supplies and all of that jazz. Because, dear God, do we need more men. Look at all of the companies that were destroyed. Look, mostly militia, so our regular troops survived, at least nominally. I don't know if I got any enemy guns. Like, I really wish the game did a better job of telling you what you took from the battlefield as spoils. The other Ultimate General games seem to do it very well. This not so much. We got 1,000 civilian muskets in storage. Any regular brown besses? 215 brown besses. Charlevilles. Okay. So we've got some muskets to reform our regular units. Meanwhile, we will have to build new units here. These companies were utterly destroyed, and I don't have the officers, the junior officers, to do it. So if we go here and we try and raise a new militia unit, I guess I don't need junior officers to raise a militia unit, maybe. But before we do that, I don't want to raise a bunch of like half-equipped units. So I'm gonna, and what I mean by that is like these guys are already shot up. Let's let them pull their reinforcements first and then spend time adding more troops and stuff. The supply network at least links Ticonderoga up here, the far north. So it should be able to draw supplies. I'm assuming I'll get a big boost here once the day ends and the game actually realizes we took Fort Ticonderoga. There you go. Plus 20 reputation. Plus 15 3-pound Galloper guns. Nice. All right. So I can't even bring reinforcements up due to lack of our junior officers for some of these guys. What are we even producing? That was a very expensive battle. How do I get junior officers? I guess let's go to this. So 20 low-ranking officers is what I need. So we'll replace the Continental Army objective with a low-ranking officers objective. It'll take 12 days. What's the so the reputation going up to 56 from the 30s helps us, I think. I don't have a good sense of, like, I know this matters. I don't know how much it matters. But how much is 12? If I spend 12 reputation, we drop back to 44. How much of a hit is that, you know? Do I even have reserves to pull forward, though? We got more ammo than the settlement can hold. More provisions than the settlement can hold. We didn't take any POWs in that fight, which is interesting. Let's move forward one more day. I just want to see how things shake out before I rush around. And again, Fort Frederick is too strong for me to assail anytime soon. Maybe once I rebuild that army completely, but we effectively shattered that army on Ticonderoga. Okay, so we didn't draw like any reserves or reinforcements. Saratoga has 160 soldiers. It is not priority. Ticonderoga is priority. So maybe those troops will shift around. Hartford is still listed as a priority. I would say we can't get rid of that. Okay. Let's give it one more day. We did get a few junior officers here. I just don't want to spend... Oh, we're out of money. Maybe we'll get an event tomorrow. No, actually, if we're out of money, that's bad. Is there any raise funds option over here? There is not. Oh, there is. But wait, let's see if we can fix it instantly by selling something. We got a bunch of 3-pound gallopers, which I could use, frankly. We also captured a couple more 6-pound field guns. We almost got enough for a 6-pound field gun battery. Textiles, 1. Sell it. Okay. Resources. Horses I don't have a lot of use for, so I suppose I could sell those. I don't know if I'm am I creating any new horses? I don't know. I don't know that I have any horse breeders. Horses are important for wagons and things like that, which I do have a wagon factory. I don't have any foundries though, so let's sell that copper. And then we'll sell a little bit of construction material because I'm not building too much right now. All right, that gets us back to 500 gold, which should prevent, I think, at least for one more day, any penalty in terms of, hey, you don't have enough money to pay your soldiers. Okay, that money all just went away. So I need a little bit more money for the moment. I don't want to sell brown besses. Those are good weapons that we use. We are producing civilian muskets. I need them, but we're producing them, and we've got 1,000 in stock. So let's sell a couple hundred and get almost $1,000, and let's see what happens. I want to get to the 18th and see if we get any more recruits or anything like that at Ticonderoga before I move units around. Part of the loyalty. Okay, so we're back in the red for money on the 18th, but we have an event where the loyalists went north, leaving their homes. We can confiscate their property, and this is Connecticut. Loyalty's at 75, 78. I'll drop it to 75. It's worth the 2,300 gold. And we did not draw like any new replacements here to Ticonderoga. So I suppose, despite the fact that we have marked it as a priority, or maybe we're just losing more manpower to desertion than we're generating. All right. Interestingly enough, I haven't gained enough experience. Maybe they're losing too many men, but I haven't gained enough experience for any of these units to like change their... Both of these units are going to go to Fort Rice, where there appears to be 400 recruits. And if they don't get reinforcements there, they will go to the east. I don't want to make my garrison at Saratoga too weak to invite an enemy assault. Granted, it probably already is. They outnumber me 4-1 almost. But let's see what happens here. 161 recruits or reinforcements just showed up at Ticonderoga, so maybe they can actually reinforce some stuff. The other thing is when these troops arrive at Fort Rice, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to shift these 500 troops to Ticonderoga right away. As tensions between Britain and the American colonies escalate in 1775, British intelligence agents receive orders to initiate a covert sabotage campaign aimed at destabilizing the American revolutionary effort. This campaign is designed to create chaos, undermine morale, and disrupt supply lines, weakening the resolve of the colonial rebels in Albany. 1 unit of ammunition and 1 unit of provisions was destroyed in Albany. Damn. Where are those 145 troops going? They're going to try and do an end around and take Saratoga? Okay. looks like they're trying to do an end around. So let us assail them with regulars twice their manpower. Again, I don't want to leave Ticonderoga too vulnerable. I don't love that we're moving through rough country. But my reserves also just showed up. All right, Spain and France's alliance is broken. We're engaging the enemy. Can't really see what's going on. I'll get my commanding officer out this way. Can we just destroy this enemy regiment? That'd be great. I wonder if they left the fort because they didn't have sufficient... what do you call it? Maybe they didn't have sufficient... Okay, they surrendered. I'm wondering if they didn't have sufficient, like, space in the fort there to... accommodate them or something. Because Fort Frederick, how many men can it hold? Probably not 2,000 if Ticonderoga can only hold 3,200 and it's a 3. Okay, so, by the way, do we have recruitment problems anywhere else due to lack of money? Sort of. The Fort Rice boys, meanwhile, the troops I moved there, looks like they've basically replenished their manpower. That company, one of them is pretty much up to full strength. Ticonderoga, meanwhile, not doing so great. Not doing so great. Not able to replenish quickly there. So I think we will need to move troops around to different forts and whatnot and strengthen them that way. So I got bringing the 500 troops north to Ticonderoga. Now we've got 1,000 men, right? But I have to take Fort Frederick. And the reason I have to take Fort Frederick is we look at the supply lines here. I don't think it's likely the enemy's going to jump the river from Hubbardton to Frederick. But if I leave Ticonderoga too weak, they will definitely move south and take Ticonderoga. And what I'd like to do is to bring this army we've been fighting with at Ticonderoga east to Leicester for the assault on Boston. That is my ultimate objective. But the AI seems fairly passive if you leave a strong enough garrison in their front. So, I mean, honestly, maybe what we do is we take Frederick and then we take Hubbardton. Well, I don't know. Maybe just move through New Hampshire and then south to Boston. Either way, this army needs to be reinforced. I suppose I could leave them there to gather their strength and then move the rest of my troops, move my commander for the assault on Boston now. I'll think about that. That might actually be the right approach. Leave these guys here to garrison Ticonderoga. Hope it's enough to hold. Let them gain their strength. Leave about 1,000 men there. Then move my character east to Providence and Leicester to assault Boston now. That might be the route to go. With that being said, guys, we have been playing for basically an hour. So I think we're going to wrap this episode up here. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. And as always, until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'm out. Bye-bye.